to talk about this for a quick second, just to kind of maybe relay this to anybody else that might be struggling with something in these similar regards, possibly. I'm not entirely sure where this is going to go, but it's just something that I wanted to share. So, there's a couple of times where certain things may happen with communications or relationships, or really, I don't know, just overall experiences that we have with said people in our life, in a sense. And I think sometimes I hold on to maybe past memories in some certain regard that I don't necessarily have to always hold on to them in, I would say, because there's been this time where during COVID, and maybe it's just different because it was like a female and she showed me the attention that I hadn't necessarily received beforehand from like an attractive female, basically. I was gonna say there's women and girls, and I'm still trying to figure out the difference between the two of them. There was this one that I had like a thing with, and I've talked with, I think I've shared this a couple of times with a couple of you. We had a thing during COVID. Like, it seemed like we were like the power couple at the gym or whatever it was. Like, we were lifting, having good conversations. And maybe that was just the thing that she needed at the time, as I needed other friends and other relationships back then as well. So now it's a little sad that it's just like, now all of a sudden my existence doesn't mean anything. Maybe this is the case for other people that I've had as well too, but I'm like, then there's these other females and other girls that I talk with that they'll chat with me for hours, and for some odd reason I still seem to cling on and hold on to this previous one that I had this experience with. And maybe it was just because it was the time and she was attractive, and it seemed like, oh wow, this is fantastic. And it seemed like it was. I just know that now it's her loss. It's not mine. It's hers. And that's the part that is challenging for me, I guess, to a certain extent, because I guess I see things maybe differently from the rest of the people, I would say. It's like, why do people do the things that they do when they do them? It doesn't make, I guess, sense to me in a certain regard, because I shot her a text this past weekend, and I was just like, I don't know if I shared that video at all or not, but I shot her a text and I was just like, hey, I'm over at this place because I know you live downtown. Just wanted to offer and extend like a hand if you want to grab a beer and just kind of catch up. And that was like the last message that I sent. I had sent her 2 previous messages prior that I didn't receive responses to, like saying, hey, happy Thanksgiving, hope you're doing well, or whatever it may be, and then like a Merry Christmas type of thing. And I was like, hey, I have a feeling that you'll probably be spending time with like your niece or something along those lines. Didn't receive a response on that. So I was like, you know what, whatever. Because I said I was going to ask for like a sign, and the girl that I ended up going out with that day, she's like, oh, my best friend is the name of this other girl that I'm telling you about right now. And through that said experience, it was just interesting because I even on the walk heard, it's just like, yeah, sometimes I overthink it and I don't hear this said thing or whatever it is. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to shoot my shot and send a message. So I sent the message, and there wasn't this pit of like, I need to have a response. It was just kind of like, all right, yep, this is the thing that happened, basically. Like, that's really all it was. And it felt kind of good in a sense. Like, it was nice to like just get that off of my chest and not have to worry about it any longer, which was really nice. And then today I ended up seeing her at the gym, and I was like, we kind of locked eyes for a brief second. I wasn't gonna work out next to her, but I was like, you know, screw it. Like, I'm just gonna go over there and see what happens. Like, if she wants to say something, cool, awesome. If not, no worries. So like, I started working out next to her, doing the things, and I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, whatever you do is what you do. But she did shrink down, which that was new for me. And when I say shrink down, you can be like, what do you mean by that? And it's just like, she just shrunk down. Like, beforehand, she would try to, like, what I would see when I would observe, like, because I watch a lot of things, like, I just observe a lot of interactions that I have. and how people's behaviors and their body language and things like that. And I try to read them in a sense, and some people would be like, don't be reading people all the time, but the reason why I do is because I want to understand myself a bit better. So like when I was staying next to her and like I was just there, she like shrunk down, like she was small. I was like, yeah, because you were the one that messed up on this thing. Like you were the one that lost this said opportunity. Like it's your loss. I'll happily, like I was over there staying next to her, I was like, if you want to talk, we can talk, but like we don't have to talk. Like that's not, I'm not gonna adamantly go out of my way any longer. I sent you that message. If you want to at least acknowledge me, cool. If not, no worries. And some of you might be like, well, why are you talking about this right now? And I guess the reason is because sometimes it is good just to like vent for venting's sakes, basically. It's just weird, and I was telling this to my buddy at the gym beforehand too, because like I was working out right next to her. She had every option. I don't have my headphones in when I work out, so like people can just ask me a question whenever they want to. You're good, bro. Like it's a yield. They can just ask me questions whenever they want to. Like there doesn't have to be any sort of like rhyme or reason behind why the person is asking me the question, because like I just don't have my headphones in. So like you can ask me whenever you need to ask me, type of thing. And it's just interesting because like she gets up and leaves after she finishes her sets, whatever it is. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not, whatever. Like I truly did not mind what was going to be happening. But then she just goes over and talks to another guy. So I'm like, all right, like that's fine. The dude that she ends up talking to, nothing against him, he seems like a great guy. Probably is a great guy as well too. And if that's the person that she wants to be with, then that's the person that she wants to be with. And if that's also the person that she wants to talk with, that's the person that she wants to talk with. Because I'm not into, I guess, the politics scene as much as I once was, and maybe that's all that we really had in common back then. But it seemed like we had other stuff in common, but maybe we didn't. Like when I think about it, maybe we didn't really have anything else in common, and she was just a pretty face, which a little upsetting. But it seemed like she was always wanting to hang around me, and maybe she just got what she needed from me and decided to move on, and that's just kind of where things were left. The interesting part though, and this is a bit that I was telling to my buddy, is like I could see her and feel her like looking over at me, because like when I decided to close my eyes, like I'll do that at the gym sometimes, where like I'll just close my eyes and like check in with myself and be like, hey, how are you feeling? Like how are things going? Like just check in, just kind of see how things are. And that was the interesting part to me, because like the more that I was doing that, the more she seemed to, like, she just kind of disappeared after that point. Like I was like, I'm not paying attention to you. Like I'm not going to give you the attention any longer. And maybe this is me giving her the attention in a sense. That's always the challenging part for me, is like maybe this is me giving the attention, maybe it's not me giving the attention. It's interesting. Maybe you guys are in similar places as well too, where maybe there's somebody that you had a thing with beforehand, and maybe it didn't play out in the ways that you had wanted to, or in the ways that you like had hoped it would, but it played out in the exact ways that it needed to. So I guess that's my small little thing, I suppose. It's an interesting world that we live in, because I don't think I did anything wrong. It doesn't seem like I did anything wrong. Like I've apologized for the things that I had done wrong in the best ways that I know I can. So it's like maybe there's just not that level of maturity in everybody, and most people aren't willing to have that uncomfortable like conversation. Like I would have been happy if she would have just told me like, hey, fuck off, like I don't want anything to do with you, in a sense. But it's like I would rather have that and know that and just be like, all right, cool, like that's fine, compared to this like just cold shoulder-esque. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that I missed that, and I don't have to deal with that, or I don't have to have that as an aspect of if something would have gone on a deeper level with her in some way, shape, or form. Plus, I just don't think we have the same things in common as we once did. There's all these other girls too that like, they like talking to me, and I like talking to them. It just doesn't seem like, it's weird, because even with these other ones, it doesn't seem like there's that interest that it was with her, even though there kind of is in a sense, but it's different, and I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. just seemed like the energies were different with her compared with some of the other women that I'm talking with. I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know what that is. Talking about that right now and then sitting with that just for that brief second, just kind of cleared everything. Like, all I want to do now is just like meditate. Close my eyes and just kind of it's like the feeling just changed like that. Like, that's just crazy. On a lighter note, I'm gonna go do yoga. I don't know how we're gonna have time for all of this. There's a bit more traffic beforehand, and we stayed at the gym a little bit longer than anticipated. I don't know, a bit of both. So I guess we'll find out where this goes. I think you have a turn. Yes, you do. Thank you. Well, yeah, let me know. Like, do you have people in your life, I guess, in those regards? Talk with you.